Good morning, class. To formally start the class discussion, may I request the class president to lead us in a prayer? So, before you may take your seats, please pick up some pieces of papers under your chairs or desks. So, stay present as I call out your surname. So, do we have any assignment, class? Good. So, in today's lesson, we must follow only two simple rules. First is to smile. May I see those smiles? Good. Next, the second one is to also smile, but this is abbreviated, which is our classroom rules for today. Could you please read the following classroom rules? Very good. After that, these are the following lesson objectives we must achieve today. Today, we are going to start with a game. I am dividing the class into two groups. Group A, which is on the left side, and Group B, which is on the right side. So, as you can see in the monitor, I have a bag here labeled groceries. In my house, when I say I'm getting personal care items like shampoo, soap, and toothpaste, that's what I mean when we say groceries. But what does it mean to you? Let's see how you organize them. So, for the game, I will flash 10 images on the screen. One representative from each group must run to the board and place these items into three boxes. You must name your boxes. This game will only last for about 2 minutes. The first group to finish with logical categories wins. So, time is up. Group A, you put shampoo and face wash in a box called body, while Group B, you put them in a box called hygiene. Both are correct, but you use different names. Exactly, and that is the problem in science. If Group A calls big cat a puma and Group B calls it a cougar, how do we know if we are protecting the same animal? This grocery duel shows why we need one universal system. Precisely. Today, we move from groceries to the Linnaean system to see how the whole world organizes life. So, as for the winner for our grocery duel, Group B won. But now I have a challenge for everyone. Look at the screen. Here are three organisms: a house cat, a lion, and a clouded leopard. If I told you that two of these are so closely related, they share the same last name, which is the genus, but one is a loner in its own group, which would you pick? So actually, the lion and the leopard are most closely related. They belong to the genus Panthera. The house cat belongs to the Felis. This is where our objectives come in today. Exactly. Appearance can be deceiving. Today, we are just grouping things by how they look. We are grouping them by their biological identity. By the end of this class discussion, you will not only identify these ranks, but also classify local species for yourself. Yes, and most importantly, we will evaluate why this matters for the Philippines. If you don't know the scientific name of a Philippine eagle versus a typical hawk, how can we make laws to save it from extinction? This is about our environmental survival. Precisely. Now, are you ready to uncover the 8-level secret code that scientists use to organize all life on Earth? Now that we've seen that looks can be deceiving, it's time for you to work like real taxonomists. I am dividing the class into 4 groups. Each group is assigned on one mystery feline from our previous discussion. Group 1 is the house cat, Group 2 for the lion, leopard and cheetah for Group 3 and Group 4 respectively. So your task is to arrange the levels from the broadest group, which is the domain, to the most specific, which is the species. You also have a set of characteristic tags like retractable claws, can roar, and solitary hunter. Try to match these traits to your levels. So class, you can focus on the cards that look like last names. Group 2 and Group 3, do you see a common word on your cards? Group 1 and Group 4, do yours match? Excellent observation. Why do you think the lion and leopard share the word while the cheetah stands alone? Hold on that thought. Arrange your Tower of Life on your desk. We will soon see which levels these animals share and where they finally part ways. So I see 4 different towers of life on your tables. Some of you found similarities and some found big differences. Now let's use the following slides to reveal the official scientific ranks and see how many of your characteristic tags were placed in the correct level. So please look at this slide. Scientists estimate that there are between 3 and 100 million species. Taxonomy is our way of managing this biological data. So look at Daddying Longlegs on its example picture. So why is it a bad idea to use that name in a science lab? Exactly. We need a universal language to avoid mistakes, especially in medicine or conservation. For the next slide, meet Carl Linnaeus. He chose Latin for this universal language. Based on the slide, why is Latin a good choice for science? Very good. And for now, check your towers against this slide. In science, we start from the broadest category, which is the domain. Check your card stacks. Did any group put kingdom at the top instead? So, as we move down from domain to kingdom, to phylum, class, order, family, and the last two, which is the naming of our species, is the genus and species. The organisms become more similar. Look at group 2, which is the animal assigned to them is lion, and group 3, which is leopard. At what level do your animals finally become different? Perfect. Every organism has a two-part name. The first is the genus, which is the family name, and the species, which is the first name. Look at the formatting on the slide. What do you notice? Correct. If you are writing this in your notebooks, you cannot write it in italics for sure easily. So you must underline each word separately. So let's practice writing the name of the lion, which is Panthera leo. So, modern taxonomy has moved beyond just looking at physical traits to incorporate phylogenetics, which studies the branching of life. So, DNA barcoding uses specific genes like COI in animals to identify species in minutes. Metagenomics allows for the analysis of DNA directly from environmental samples like water or soil to identify species without ever seeing them. This includes functional metagenomics, which is identifying genes by composition, and sequence based metagenomics, determining taxonomic composition. These tools are currently being used to discover thousands of new microbial species in the human gut and extreme environments like volcanic vents. So, what is a cladogram? Does anyone know of what is a cladogram? None? So, cladogram are diagrams that shows the relationships between species based on derived characters. These are the traits that appeared in the most recent common ancestor. Another is monophyletic groups. It is a group that includes an ancestor and all its ascendants, which means if you have an ancestor from the top, it goes down to you. For you, for example, you have an ancestor in prehistoric times. As you track down your monophyletic group tree, you can see that it all goes up from him to you. So, modern taxonomy strives to make every taxon a clade. So, class, have you ever faced a problem such as identifying if a certain kind of animal is hard to distinguish from each other? Good. The African elephant serves as a prime example of how taxonomy impacts the real world. Originally considered as one species, genetic and morphological studies recently split them into the African bush elephant, Loxodonta africana, and the African forest elephant, Loxodonta cyclotis. So, this classification changed conservation laws because the forest elephant is significantly more endangered than the bush elephant. This splitting is a common debate in taxonomy, where lumpers prefer broad categories while splitters prefer specific categories based on minor genetic differences. Exactly. Classification is a tool, just like the African elephant. Identifying the specific genus and species allows us to provide the right medicine or protection to the right group. It shows that science is a living, breathing subject that changes as we discover more through DNA and technology. All right, class, think of taxonomy as the foundation of biology. Imagine if a scientist discovered a cure for a disease using a specific leaf in Mindoro, but they didn't classify it correctly. Other scientists would never find that exact plant again. Our research would be useless. This comes taxonomy. Taxonomy ensures data integrity. Taxonomists are actually first responders. In conservation, we often say you cannot save what you do not know exists. If we don't name a species, we can't write a law to protect it. It turns the chaos of life into a story of how we are all related. Exactly. Whether it's preventing invasive crops from destroying our local farms or managing our fisheries in the Sulu Sea, taxonomy is the library system that keeps everything running. So, class, to remember these taxonomic levels in order, we can use a mnemonic or whatever you like. One mnemonic you can use is that dear King Philip came over for good soup. So let's say it together. Now, let's apply this to a local pride, the Philippine eagle. Its genus is Pithecophaga and its species is Jefferyi. Based on our discussion, how should we write its scientific name on the board? Could anybody write its scientific name on the board? All right, thank you for your answer. I appreciate that. Class, before we end, I will show a table with missing taxonomic ranks for Tamarao and Dugong or Sikaw. Work with your seatmate to fill in the blanks using the clues provided on the screen. You can use the internet for filling out the taxonomic ranks for following animals. Class. Finally, in one sentence, why is classifying the Philippine eagle differently from a common hawk important for its survival? Class, for your assignment, research one endangered species in our province or the Philippines. You can create a one-page travelogue or a poster that explains its taxonomic classification and why your community should protect it. You can provide it in a A4 size bond paper and you will submit it on our next meeting. Class dismissed. Thank you.